So as you can see here, this is the chart of Zoo token. It was quite a popular game like a month ago, and over the last month or so it really dipped in price significantly, like I think at least 90%, 98%. Shit. So as you can see, it reached a new low after the 15th of August, and now it is making a double bottom. I really like to see these kind of patterns, especially when it makes a bottom and then it reacts so heavily, like this pullback what you see here. Usually I mark that zone of where it initiated the bounce, the last red candle, and this zone is usually a very strong support. And well, I don't really want to predict stuff, as when price comes back, I would never initially buy it. I would just wait and see how it reacts. And what I see right now is it starts to consolidate a little bit, but it's above the support or in the range. It went below a little bit, but it didn't stay below for too long. It bounced up, it reacted very quickly, and now it's consolidating around the zone. So actually I see that as bullish. And what I also like about this setup is that it's very easy to define your risk level here. So if I would enter here in this zone, then I would always know that once price comes lower than this point right here, I should get out immediately. So having this clearly defined risk is very nice. I love to see that. So the risk here is only like 8%, maybe 10% if you include slippage. And for the upside, well, there is the first resistance that you'll come across is this one here, but it would not be worth it to sell here. The second resistance is somewhere around here, which is probably my first target point. And then the third resistance, well, there's many resistances along the way, like here, here, and the final one here. I wouldn't necessarily take these as profit targets, as these are kind of minor resistances. So I would probably use this as my first target point, and this is my second. And you can already see here that the risk reward is really amazing, because let's say that it only reaches the first level, it would give you a 1.521, and if it reaches the second level is a 5.721. So let's say we would sell half here and half here, we would get around a little bit more than 3.521. So that's a good setup for me. And as you can also see, I already bought in here. Oh, it's already performing quite well. So you can see I bought here in the range, and now waiting, just waiting. Okay, that's it. Looks like I'm actually really lucky for my first trade. Just right after I bought it, it just shot up. So maybe people saw the volume that I bought, which is not really a lot, but maybe more than most. So it's actually now in the first zone already, the first target area. And so as I said previously, I was going to sell here 50% and, well, stick to the plan, you know, sell 50%. And I just sold here. Not sure why it's not showing yet. But yeah, I'm just gonna wait, and price could retrace here. It's the first big resistance after such a big downtrend, so really likely that it will at least consolidate here for a while, and possibly come back a little bit, maybe 60%, so maybe something like this, and before it will try again. But it doesn't really matter though. I mean, I can predict or project whatever I want. There's only two things that I have to do here, and that is, well, actually one thing, it's waiting. And if the price goes below this point here, I will sell the rest. And then I would probably break even or have maybe a really small amount of profit, or the price gets more close to this zone here and I will have a lot of profit. So whatever its trajectory is, I don't really care. It's just a waiting game. The plan is already made. It's always really annoying to see when the price stalls just a little bit before your target. But I'm really stubborn always, and I don't really want to sell below my my target area, so I'm gonna have to wait, unfortunately. But I was also trying to find a way to set some limit orders. Right now I'm just using PancakeSwap, and you can only really execute the trade when you're sitting here and when the price is at my price target. And I don't really like the lack of insight, so you don't really know the order book or anything, because there probably is no order book. But it's kind of annoying because you never know how much fees you're paying or if there's any other costs involved, like slippage. But I just found something called balked.finance. So it kind of sounds scammy, but it looks okay. And I saw some people talk about it on Reddit. So I'm checking it out right now. And it looks like it is an app that allows you to do limit orders. And it costs $2.50 per limit order. So I might try this out. 250 PancakeSwap. Yeah, so the orders are actually executed through PancakeSwap. So I might actually set my limit order at 68 or 67. You know, so as I said before, this is like the most significant resistance because it formed here. So here you can see the last move of this downtrend. It had a small pullback and then it really got hammered down. And this last green candle is of high importance. So when the price came back up, it touched the range, and then from there it went down again. So as soon as price makes a double bottom and comes back into this range, there is a certain amount of chance that it actually will go through, because it's already the third time that it touches here, and it actually also made double bottom, so it has some decent chance of actually breaking through. But this is like the point of decision, the most important point. So selling here is always always good. You don't have to sell everything, but you should sell something if the price reaches such influential point. And what I also think is very important is that support and resistances are not as they are not exact. So what I mean by that is that it's not a line. You should look at it as a range, because if you look at it as a line, then you would have probably sold here when it dipped below. You know, at this point, when this happened, you would probably sell. But it rarely works like this. Trading or technical analysis is not exact science. It is based on ranges. So instead of having this line here, I just use a range. And if you sell in this range, that would be all right. And for example, when you would buy at a support level, so the range would be something like this. Okay, so when you apply ranges, you're also a little bit more wide in your stop losses, and you look at it just from a very different perspective, and it helps a lot in trading. So that's why if I would buy here, I would never, I would first want to see the reaction like you did. But if I would buy it coming into this range for the first time, my stop loss would be way lower. It would be something like here. So really wide, a lot of room for price to form support. And for selling, well, selling is a little bit different, because it's really annoying if the price just doesn't reach a target and then comes down. So yeah, it's probably better if you would be a little bit more conservative on the selling side. So instead of selling it in the upper range, you're better off selling a little bit below there, just to be earlier than all the other sellers. So price seems to continue now. It had a small consolidation apparently, and now it's continuing upwards. Very, very steep trend here. It's insane. Okay, so I did decide to sell here, mainly because of, well, the steep trend at first. So look at it like this. If a price or if a stock or anything goes up in price so quickly, it basically doesn't form any support. And once the trend exhausts, which is inevitable, it will really come back down very hard. And basically because there is no support build up. So I've experienced like a few times that price went to my target point and didn't reach it by just an inch. But it really matters, like how fast does it approach your target point. Let's say, for example, that price would do something like this, and then come up the your target point, which is somewhere around here. Then it would be very different than if it would do something like this, because here along the way it builds a lot of support, and then let's say that it doesn't reach the target point, then I would be quite comfortable just waiting. And it could maybe, take out the lows here first and then go back to the target point and perhaps maybe even beyond that. But in this case, price just shut up, building no support along the way. This could mean that first, because of price increase, which is that steep, people are like, oh shit, it just increased with 30%, maybe I should sell something. And that could cause it to decrease earlier than maybe expected. And when it decreases, it could probably go back to where it came from. I mean, that is not weird. It could really happen. So, but still, of course, then from here, there something happened here which caused price to do this. So likely it might come back again. But this will take much longer now if it, does such a pump and dump, because it needs to gain confidence and trust again. So in that case, sometimes you're just better off leaving that 10% or even less on the table. Just take it and wait for the new opportunity. Maybe it comes back here, you can buy back in. Well, that would be amazing. So just to give it some perspective, my target point was basically here, this resistance area. So probably around here, and I just sold somewhere here in this peak. I think that's nice. I mean, I bought here, sold some here, first target point, and sold the rest here. So I think it's an amazing trade for the first one. So my balance right now is a little bit over $9,000. Not sure how much euros that is, but I'll plug it in a minute. Made this small sheet here to track it, or track the progress with a nice logo. And I've also used trades, to track them. So every trade will be recorded right here. I just do trade, the date of that trade, and then the balance. Because I think it's important to look at it per trade and not per se per day or a time frame, because there's no relation to time frame and things like balance or anything. You just look at it per trade. Try to make a good trade and move on to the next trade. All right, that's it. Okay, so I'm now at the Binance exchange, and I just deposited what we've earned, or our total portfolio. And now let's see how much it is in euros. That's a euro. $7,674. Okay. Okay, so basically for our first trade, it means that we have made 1,600 euros. So that's an increase of how much exactly? No, that's not correct. Yeah. So it's an increase of 27.9%. Wow, that's an amazing first rate. But I think the next one might not be that great. So we shouldn't get too overconfident right now. But I mean, it's a great start. So really curious about the next opportunity that we can find.